Good morning, YouTube family. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be. We are starting today with some happies and crappies, so I hope you are joining us. Let me start off with some crappies. I guess, the crappy that continues to persist is the continued um, news, just the sadness and the violence and the pain that's out there right now. It's hard to escape. It's hard to shut it all out. And actually, you know what? We do have a choice here. We can shut it out and we don't have to pay attention to what's going on every minute of the day. And that's what I have to challenge myself to do. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to turn off all the different media and just see how that improves my attitude and my feelings. And I think that it will do the same for you. So unplug from all the nastiness out there right now and focus on what's good. Focus on building yourself up and building your own future. That is the way to go. But today we're going to talk about something that the narcissist does or doesn't do that really just destroys them all the way to the end of their life. And I want us all to avoid that, because if you get stuck doing this, you're going to end up not the narcissist, but you're going to end up miserable the way the narcissist is miserable. And I don't want that in your life. I want you to have a great life. And I want to share with you what happened this week. So part of my crappy too, and it turned into a happy, was I did my testimony. Now, some of you may know that, I don't know, if you've been in the church long enough or in specific kinds of churches, we share our testimonies, sometimes in large groups, sometimes in conferences, sometimes in just small groups. And the reason we do that is to show others hope that the things that we've gone through doesn't have to define you and doesn't have to hold you back for the rest of your life. It's an overcoming story. And even non-Christians, of course, can do this and have done this on TV shows, right? They talk about their past and what has happened. But anyway, so I did my testimony. I had to write it out because I'm giving it tomorrow to a group of women. And, I was really hesitant. I didn't want to do it because I know my past is really super painful. And honestly, it nearly destroyed me. I did not want to live. There were so many times that I made attempts to avoid or, not continue on. And luckily, I never got to that point, obviously, right? So here's the deal. You can be at that point in your life where you think there's nothing left worth living for, right? There's nothing for you and it's just pointless and the pain is so great. And when you get to that point, it's almost easy, I guess, to decide that that's your truth. But it's not. It's not the truth. And the incredible thing about those dark times is you might think that that's the rest of your life. Like the rest of your life will be like this dark moment in your life. But it's not true. And I liken it to at night when you start to fall into a funk or you start to feel depressed and you stay up later and later and later. And you find yourself at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and you're still feeling miserable. Here's the deal. Have you noticed that by 7 a.m., say you go to sleep and then you wake up at 10 a.m., if you go to sleep at 3, you wake up whenever in the morning and the sun is out and the sky is clear and it's beautiful. It suddenly feels like not so bad anymore, right? The depression, it fades away, it goes away. And then you stop and you think, oh my gosh, had I ended it all that night before, I would not be waking up to this incredible, beautiful day today. And that is the hope that we have every day, you guys. We have the hope of starting over. We have the hope of sun in our life. So I want to encourage you, when you are in that dark place, go to sleep, get some rest, and then wake up in the morning. And it's really amazing. I used to not be a morning person. I used to be a night owl and then stay up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I was kind of useless through the day. die because I was so exhausted. So I would not recommend that to anybody, but I understand it. I understand why we stay up late, because in a way, that darkness that envelops us is somewhat comforting, right? We feel silence, and we feel the quiet of dark and night, and it somehow comforts us. But it's a false comfort, you guys. Do not stay there. That comfort also entices you to believe that things are not going to get better, that your life is worthless, that you're not going to be able to change, and your situation is not going to change. And all this doubt comes in, and hopelessness comes in. So do not stay there. If you are going through that in the middle of the night, go to sleep. And here's the thing. There's a proverb that says to not go to bed angry. So a lot of people get this marriage advice when they get married, and they get told, oh, never go to bed angry, resolve all of your arguments and before you go to sleep. And let me tell you, it's bull crap. By the way, I think some people have come to realize, or a lot of people should realize by now, that it's not good to try to resolve problems in your marriage when you're both exhausted, when you're both angry, when you're both depleted. That is the worst time, and usually leads to the biggest fights in your marriage. It leads to incredible, horrible things. So go to sleep. Like, agree to not hate each other, right? Agree to work on your problem the next day and choose a time to work on it, but then go to bed. And then in the light of day, work on your problems. And you'll see, like, wow, you're going to be able to compromise better. You're going to be able to communicate better. You're going to be able to resolve your problem. So anyway, you guys, doing my testimony just made me realize how much pain there was in my life and the darkness that was there, and reminded me of the times that things could have ended. And that would have prevented the incredible, beautiful life that I have now. And I want you guys to know that there is a beautiful life, that maybe it doesn't feel like it right now for you, and it certainly didn't for me for a couple of decades there. But and then there was also another, several years of just growing and healing. And it does happen if you pursue that. Pursue your own healing. If you don't pursue it, who's going to pursue it for you, right? So I'm glad you're here. And this is part of your healing right now, because you're willing to have a better life. You want to have a better life. And Obi, I don't agree with you. Obi says marriage is a joke. But I kind of understand it. To some people, it is. People who don't treat it well. People who, they take the vows, and it means, I don't know what it means to them, actually. I think they just do it because they think they're supposed to. And those, you're right, those marriages are jokes. And marriage to a narcissist absolutely is a joke. But when you are healed and you find another person who's seeking healing, I mean, you're never going to be 100% healed, obviously, right? Because we're flawed. We're human. But if you're seeking healing and others are seeking healing and you're doing it together, it is beautiful. And in my life, seeking God together helped me with my healing, and my husband as well. We have that in common, and it has made our life incredible. Well, you guys, my happy for this week will lead into this topic today. But my happy this week was that I got to hang out with a bunch of women in a group that we meet every week, and our group is growing. And yesterday we were just sitting around, and we get together to break bread, which is so great. If you guys can do that, break bread with people. There's something different than just going out for drinks or going out to I don't know, taking a walk and all that. That's great too, actually. But when you break bread together in a group, you bond, you relax. Your stomach is full. Your good endorphins are filling your body. It's really wonderful. And so yesterday I was hanging out with these women, and we're looking around. We're like, wow, we have pretty much every race represented. We have different continents represented. We had Asians. We have had black people. We had white people. We had Southerners. We had Northerners. We had Mexicans. We had Native Americans. It was beautiful. And here's the deal, you know, we may not agree on everything in our lives, but we came together because we agree about God. And it people who really truly seek God are amazing to me. They're full of life, they're full of love, they're full of peace. That's how you know that you're with someone who truly is seeking God. Those who are not full of peace, those who are in anguish, you know, they may be seeking, but they haven't gotten there yet. So, you know, give them time and grace to grow. But anyway, here's the point. One of my friends who was there, we've been friends for, oh my gosh, 17, no, it can't be that long, 12 years. Okay, we've been friends for about 12 years. And she, the first time I talked to her, I called her to see, you know, she had a Bible study and I wanted to know if I should join it. So I'm on the phone with her, and one of the first things, you know, we talked for about an hour. It was great. And she's from New York City, got that thick Bronx, you know, accent. She's hilarious. I love her. She says to me, you know what? I hate fake people. And I was like, wow, no one, I've never heard anyone, you know, announce that pretty much the first time you meet them, right? And that drew me to her. And I was like, I cannot agree more. I don't care for fake people either. I want authenticity in my relationships. And so I went to her group and we've been friends ever since. We've been amazing friends. And since then, our group has grown. People have come and gone, but we have stuck close to each other. And let me tell you, you know, fake people, mean people, you don't need them in your life, honestly. However, I do prefer fake people over mean people just because mean people are just, they're the narcissist, all right? But they're all, you know, narcissists are fake and mean, or they're fake or they're mean. I mean, it's both for them. And you don't want that in your life. They will destroy and erode any happiness in your life. They will set you up only to tear you down. But real people, even if you don't agree with them, they're not mean. They're not fake. They're not there to set you up. What you see is what you get. And if you have things in common, like hobbies, or uh, in our case, it's God, we grow. We grow together because we're always helping each other improve ourselves. We look towards positivity, we look towards the truth, and we help each other get rid of the lies in our life. And when you get rid of the lies in your life, that makes space then for good things to come in. Well, you guys, here we are. We are going to talk about the thing that narcissists won't do, or they do, and that makes them shrivel up and disappear. You know, it really does. It just destroys their life. It takes them to the end of their life where they're angry and discontented and they don't know why. It's because they will not self-examine. They will not take a look, a real clear look at themselves. And that is something that I would really highly encourage all of you guys to do. Take a good, hard look at yourself. And instead of being self-righteous about your anger, instead of being self-righteous about your hatred, take a look at just yourself. Like, what if it was just you on an island, right? No narcissist, nobody to hurt you, nobody to control you. It's just you. Nobody to hate, right? Nobody to be angry at. It's just you. What would you look like in your own eyes? Like, what is your character? What would come out of you if there was nobody for you to hate, right? And think about that. Are you being true to that person? Or are you allowing people around you to mold you into something you don't want to be? Like an angry, vengeful, hateful person. That's what happens with narcissists. They will not strip all the way down to who they are if other people weren't around them, right? They will not strip down to the person they could be. They want to be this angry person because they live in that interaction with the fake people. They live in that interaction with mean people, and they stay there. And I don't want you guys to stay there. You don't want to stay in this limbo interaction where you're responding and reacting and back and forth with people who don't really matter in your life, right? People who you should not be filling your mind with 24/7. And that's another reason why you should unplug from, I mean, be aware of what's going on around you and in the world. I get that. But unplug from it. If you're finding yourself obsessed with the news and following it minute by minute to see what's going on, unplug from it and live in your life. Like, put on your own life and start walking in it. And that's what I get to do at least once a week, right? I do it more than that. But with this group of women, we hang out together because we bring out life in one another. And that's what I want for you guys. Yeah. And that's true. Here's Obi. He says that his narc dad almost made him knock him out. But here's the deal. You have to stop with that. Like, you feel like they make you do that. Yeah, they evoke these feelings in you. And the most amazing thing is when you can control those feelings like Obi did and refused to do that, right? You controlled yourself and you walked away before it went too far. And that is what I want for all of you guys. Walk away before it goes too far. And it goes to the same thing at night when you're depressed, when you're feeling really bad, when you're feeling hopeless. Walk away from that. And the way you walk away from that is go to sleep, get some rest. Turn on one of these apps that has peaceful music or peaceful stories that you can fall asleep to. It is great. Do something like that. Get a book on CD, or not CD, but a book, audio book. I'm a little bit leery about what's on the internet because you never know if, like, the fourth hour while you're sleeping and this book that you think you're listening that's on YouTube, they may be introducing thoughts that you should not be having. But if you get a book on tape or something, or audio book, listen to that. And music. Yeah, have a good stream of music. John Bailey, good to see you. Good morning. And Rissa Riss, Obi, good to see you guys. Useo Leon, good to see you. Yeah. Useo says marriage has more disadvantages than advantages. Well, I'd have to disagree with you because I'm in a really good marriage. And the beautiful thing about this marriage, you know, I look over to my husband and we're just, every day we get to fill each other's lives with joy, like every day. And I never have to feel alone. I mean, there are times that people are in marriages, and I've talked about this, being married to a narcissist, you will feel lonely because they're not in there with you. They are living some other life, and you're just a bus stop to them. They stop by every now and again. And living in that type of a marriage is lonely. Yeah. Just checking. Mario, good to see you. Ghost them, walk away, abandon them. Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I wanted to share with you some of the thoughts I've had about the fact that narcissists, they will not self-examine. And because they will not self-examine, they cannot be themselves. They're simply always on the defensive. That's a narcissist. Always on a defensive. They cannot entertain the idea or even feel comfortable being around people who don't agree with them, right? I can be fine around people who don't agree with me. Like, I have no problem with that. It's so hilarious. Yesterday, you know, I was talking to the friend I was telling you about. We've been friends for 12 years. And, you know, I just love her. I think that, you know, we got to sit down and just share life, get caught up, and we were just laughing. We were laughing about the misery in our lives, right? The things that we have gone through, the hardships we had done. And we were laughing about it because we could agree. We can agree, like, yeah, that really stunk. You know, that really sucked. That was a horrible, terrible time in our lives. And we laughed about how much we've grown since then. We're like, yeah, but look at you now and look at you. You know, we've seen each other grow over these 12 years. And we admitted to each other our bad characteristics, if you will, our immaturity at the beginning, right? And how we've grown out of that. We've grown out of being critical. We've grown out of being angry. We've grown out of being reactionary, right? We've grown out and we've become much stronger, more wonderful people. And we were laughing. You know, that's the really amazing thing when you're around an authentic person, or you're authentic and they're authentic. You can laugh about real things. You don't have to be laughing at somebody. You don't have to be putting down people. You don't have to be angry at somebody and then making jokes about them to laugh at them. You laugh at yourself, and you can be fully strong in doing that. It's not like you're laughing at yourself and you're weak. No, you're totally strong if you can laugh at yourself. And that's what we did. But then we also just were so encouraging with one another. We were able to see the blessings in our own lives, you know, and share the blessings in our own lives without feeling like the other person's going to be jealous, or I'm going to hurt the other person's feelings because they're not in the same place I am, and so therefore they're going to be mad that I brought this up. All this junk that goes into relationships. It's just ridiculous. But narcissists and toxic people and unhealed people, immature, emotionally immature people will have a hard time having authentic relationships. I want you guys to get to the point where you can have an authentic relationship, and narcissists just cannot do that. So the way you have an authentic relationship, the first thing you've got to do is examine yourself. Take a good, hard, truthful look at yourself. That is not what a narcissist will do. They'll look at parts of themselves and then justify why they are the way they are, or why other people deserve their wrath, or why other people cause them to do stuff that they don't want to do, right? My ex made me do this, or he made me, or she made me. It's like, no. Oh my gosh, that's one of those idiot songs. So sorry, but this person's an idiot who's saying, look at what you made me do is part of the lyrics. I don't even want to mention their name on here because I don't want to give them any credit of, exposure, that is. They can have the credit of that lyric, but I don't want to give them any exposure. Look at what you made me do. What the heck kind of lyric is that kids are running around singing that? Like, no, no, no. People don't make you do things. Yeah, there are things that you do in reaction to them, but it is always your choice. And guess what? Some of it is a good choice. Don't be ashamed. If you did something to defend yourself and it hurt them, you know, that was their choice, and your choice was to defend yourself. And that is totally okay. I want you to understand, don't be ashamed if somebody does something and you choose to stop it. Like, no, I'm not gonna. They're standing there berating you, or they're hurting somebody that you love, and you stand between them. Yeah, they didn't make you stand between them, by the way. They didn't make you interrupt or stop them, but you choose to. So sometimes your reaction to what they do is the proper consequence, So anyway, but if you feel like they're making you do something bad, like they made me rob this person. No, they didn't make you rob this person, okay? You chose to do that. You've got to do other things. You've got to make other choices. All right, you guys. I'm just looking at some of the things I thought of last night. I had written down, you can be yourself and disagree without offending each other. Oh, that's a big thing. You can disagree without offending each other. You know how I'm looking around and it's so rare, those kinds of relationships nowadays. Like, everybody gets so offended about everything. I'm just in shock, honestly. I am in shock at how much people get offended. And people that, you're like, I'm authentic, I'm myself. And the people I hang out with, you know, if they cannot handle that, that's fine. I get it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I get it. It's no big deal to me. We don't have to be friends. We can be polite and all that to each other, but certainly we're not going to be deep, authentic friends with one another. So here's the deal. I've had people in my life, not like a ton of people, but I've had people in my life. We start to get close. I think that, you know, I like them. I think they're, you know, I give them the benefit of the doubt that they're being authentic with me. I feel like they can say whatever they want to say. I don't always agree with what they say, right? But then I ask myself, is this a point that I need to bring up with them and say, I just absolutely don't agree with you and we can't be friends? No, it's not. Usually it is not. I don't think I've ever had a situation where that was the case. So whatever it is that they said or they did, and I just didn't agree with it, I'm like, okay, that's their choice. I don't agree with it. I would never do that myself, nor would I think that myself. But does this mean we can't be friends? No, we can be friends. It's okay. We can have differences of opinion. They want to live their life one way. I want to live my life a different way. But we have some other things in common that we enjoy when we get together. So that's great. Let's do that. And we're human. We can share and support one another. And I've done that. I've done that with other people where we go into each other's lives, and I try to do this formula that I do with authentic people, which is you share who you really are. You share your struggles. You don't have to act like, oh, I'm perfect and my life is perfect, and don't you wish that you had my life? No, what the heck, there's crap that goes on in my life at times, and it's okay to share that, and crap that you've overcome, so that you can connect and say, wow, I went through the same thing. And that's how you kind of can laugh about it too, like, wow, we both went through this crap together, not together, but we've both experienced it, and it bonds you, right? So I've done up to that point with some people, but then it gets to where they are emotionally immature to the point where one day I'm going to say something that maybe they're not going to agree with. I'm going to have a perspective that they're not going to agree with. They're going to have a perspective that I'm not going to agree with, you know. And what I mean, okay, for us, it was kind of occupational. It was about psychology. So this one person was saying something they thought about psychology, and that they, I don't know, about people, human behavior, right? And I disagreed. I just didn't think, no, I don't think people are like that, or all people are like that, or all people come out of that situation and end up in this other situation. I just don't agree with that. I didn't pursue it and push it and all that. I just said I didn't agree. Well, after that, this person just was like silent, right? Just silent. And I was wondering, okay, well, I don't know what that's about. Maybe they're going through some stuff, they need to on their own. So one day they finally contact me, and was this person accuses other people of being passive aggressive, and yet I see them being passive aggressive. But whatever, it is they're who they are. And guess what? Even people being passive aggressive, that doesn't bother me. It just doesn't. I just see it as an emotional immaturity, and that hopefully they grow out of it. It's one of those where they're fake, right? It's being fake, and because they don't know how else to be. They don't know how to be authentic. So this is how they get out their frustration or their disagreement with you, or their discomfort with somebody. They become passive aggressive. They become fake. So, and yet they let out a little bit at a time to kind of hope that you understand they're not happy. So this person does this with me, and I'm like, okay, no big deal. But the funny thing is, this person has told me multiple times how other people have been passive aggressive with her, and she doesn't like that. And she points it out, and she's very critical of it. And I'm like, okay, do I tell her that she does the same thing? Probably not. Not right now, right? Because she's not in the mode of receiving. So she finally comes out and tells me how, okay, because I said my opinion, it made her feel judged. I'm like, what? How does my saying my opinion, I am not judging the person. And here's the deal, you guys. Think about this. Just because someone tells you their opinion, you're not being judged. You're just being told their opinion. Okay? If it doesn't agree with you, like I've told people my opinion, they've told me their opinion, and just because their opinion is different than mine, I don't think I've ever felt judged. I just felt like, oh, we don't have the same opinion. I see things differently than they do. Now, if they come out and they're like, well, you're an idiot for believing this, then okay, that's judgment, you guys, right? Or if they mock you, or if they put you down specifically for how you are thinking and what your opinions are, then yes, you're being judged. But if you're just hearing their opinion, that's not you being judged. That's just their opinion. That's all it is. Anyway, so here's the deal. I cannot have an authentic relationship with this person. I knew that. It's like, it frustrated me. And I thought, I thought we were getting close. That's the sad part. I thought we were getting close. I was willing to share with her some of my past, not all of it, right? I have told you guys this before. Do not share everything all at once with anybody because you don't know where they are. And if they are a toxic person, they will use it against you. If they're a narcissist, they will use it against you. And all the stuff that she does know about me, I don't know. I don't know. I just can't see anything that was incriminating, I guess, if you would say, uh, that she would use against me. But here's the deal: the narcissist doesn't even need incriminating information about you to use information against you. They will make up the information about you. For instance, if this person should go to other people and tell them how opinionated I might be, and how critical I am, and how judgmental I was, she can make up all kinds of stuff like that. And that's the sad part about narcissists. And it brings us back to the topic. Because narcissists and toxic people, by the way, this person may not be a narcissist, but toxic, self-centered people. And they're self-centered because they protect the self. They protect their inner self. They put up barriers. And when you put up barriers like that, you cannot help but be self-centered. You're always watching out for anybody who might be hurting your ego. So anyway, here she is. If she would just self-examine, right? If toxic people, if narcissistic people, if emotionally immature people could just stop and take a look at themselves and ask themselves, well, why am I feeling judged? Why am I feeling this way? What's causing that? And stop blaming other people, right? Like, did that other person call me a name when I gave my opinion? No. Did that other person put me down and treat me badly? No. Okay, so is it because I cannot handle hearing a difference of opinion? That might hit a couple of you guys a little hard. And it hits me too, by the way, because there's some times where I'm like, it kind of feels like a little stab when someone disagrees with you on something that you just truly are passionate about, right? So stop and ask yourself, okay, am I not able to receive someone else's difference of opinion? And if that's true, find out why. Like, dispel the lies about it. Is it because when I hear a difference of opinion, I hear, you're an idiot? If I hear a difference of opinion, I'm hearing, you're stupid. If I'm hearing a difference of opinion, am I hearing attacks against myself? Okay? Those are made up. Remember when I was talking about this fakeness between people? People reacting to other people's behavior or actions and not reacting to the truth, right? They're reacting to what they believe was the meaning of whatever the other person said or did or just is, right? And that's living in a fantasy world. That's living where the narcissist lives. And I don't want you to live there. I want you to escape from that crazy town. That is where toxic people live. Narcissists, excuse me. I forget to stop and take a drink of water. But that is where narcissists live. And that is why at the end of their life, they shrivel up. It just eats away at their core. It does. They continue to build and build barricades to protect that self because they don't agree with people. People don't agree with them. They feel like just because someone disagrees with them, it's an attack. So they must build that barricade higher and higher and higher. They feel like it's a judgment. Oh, these people are judging me because they don't agree with me. It's not that they are judging you. They simply don't agree with you. And it's okay. But narcissists cannot take that. Toxic people, emotionally immature people cannot take that yet. They're just feeling attacked because their self-esteem is so low, right? We want to think that narcissists have very high self-esteem and sometimes they act like they do, but bullies have the lowest self-esteem. It is, they're just angry, very violent, mean people, but they have very low self-esteem. They have a need for others to like them, to agree with them, and to think highly of them. And if people disagree with them, then they believe that those people cannot possibly think highly of them. I have people that I disagree with, by the way, okay? I don't think highly of them in that category, maybe, where we disagree, but I can think very highly of them in other categories. Like I might think the way they're raising their kids, wow, their kids are turning out really horrible. That's not good. I can't think highly of that because I don't think it's a good idea. But I can see like, wow, they're very motivated people. They're self-starters. They're very honest people. They are, generous people. They care about others. Man, I think very highly of them in those other areas in their life. So stop and think about that. Just because someone disagrees with you about one section or one part of your life doesn't mean that they throw you all away. Okay? They don't. I don't anyway. Now, narcissists will throw that away. They're like, you got this one flaw, forget it, I'm out. So, and also toxic or immature, emotionally immature people will throw other people away because of things like that. Mario says, I'm not quite sure what this is about. Let me go back. It says, look at the 2020 toilet paper debacle. Let me see if I can go back and see what that's about. Oh, this is good. Mario just says, I was thinking I was a narc for a minute, then I realized I could put myself in another person's shoes. Yes, and that is the difference between us and a narcissist. But here's the deal. We have to be able to admit our faults, right? So when you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, you have to see like, wow, am I treating that person well? Do I need to change the way I'm behaving? Blah, blah, blah. It's good. It's all good. It's great that you can do that. That's part of self-reflection too, because seeing yourself in somebody else's eyes, right? And it's not to say that you have to then become whatever it is they need you to become, because then it becomes them controlling you, right? And people become manipulative like that. They tell you, well, you make me feel this way. You made me do this. You. Instead of stopping and going, okay, maybe let them know when you forget my birthday, it hurts my feelings. I get it. Or, you can talk to each other when you walk through the door and you don't leave it open for me. Yeah, you can tell people things like that, like, please don't do that. But when you want to control them and tell them to not be who they are, when you're so happy, it makes me feel like you don't care that I'm miserable. It's like, well, okay, then maybe you don't need to be around them that often. If you're, I don't know, if you're trying to control somebody else, or if the narcissist is trying to control you, you don't have to conform and be everything to the narcissist. Even if you can put yourself in their shoes and think, wow, they would probably want me to do this. They probably would want you to be their slave, okay? Honestly, they probably would want you to be the kind of person they can walk all over and treat however way they want, and then you would still be there for them, doing everything for them. That's crap, okay? So empathy can go so far, and then you can empathize with somebody, but then not be manipulated by them. So there's the trick, you guys, all right? So, Rissa says, why does my ex-narc seem happy in his new marriage? I came to now hear he is married to a woman 5 years older than him. Why am I feeling sad about this? He is introducing her to everyone. Yeah, you have to stop looking, Rissa. You have to stop looking. And yeah, it's a new marriage. By the way, if it's new, it's like a shiny new toy. He's excited. He's, things are going well. But here's the deal too. Behind closed doors, she is seeing the cracks. She is seeing what kind of person this is. And she's willing to put up with this. She's willing because she thinks things are going to change. She thinks things are going to get better. But they don't. They don't get better with the narcissist. They're going to get worse. So, yes, right now he's happy because she's going along with it. Right? Right now he's happy because she's allowing him to have his bad behavior behind closed doors and forgiving him. So he's thinking, oh, this is the one. This is the person who's going to stick with me through thick and thin. But here's the deal. When the narcissist continues to behave the way they do and they don't change, and the supply starts to see that things are not getting better and in fact they're getting worse, and it might take years, by the way, to get to this point. It depends on the new supplies, what do you call it? Not standards, but their ability to take this type of thing, right? How much can this new supply take? So if the new supply is very thin-skinned and cannot take that kind of pressure, not just pressure, but abuse, right? Just being treated badly, then they're going to get out of there as soon as they can, right? Or crumble and have their family member come and take them out of there. But if they are very strong-willed, if they are persistent, if they're loyal, they may stick it out with the narcissist for several years. So it will do you no good to keep watching that, because the narcissist is going to parade around like, I found someone who loves me thoroughly and unconditionally and will stay there no matter how badly I treat them. But think about that. Why would you want to be with someone who feels that way about you? Like that you'll stick around no matter how badly they treat you. What the heck is that? You want somebody who's willing to improve themselves so that they can love you better. Anyway, so that's where my husband and I are. Our marriage is a case where we want to improve ourselves so that we can love the other one better. That is the way that they should be training people up into marriages. The marriage is not for the other person to serve you. The marriage is not for what can this person do for me and make me feel better. The marriage is not so you can parade around and show other people, look at me, somebody cares about me. No, the marriage should not have anything to do with anybody who is watching you. The marriage should be about, I love this other person so much, I want to be a better woman. I love this person so much, I want to be a better man. And that is the best kind of marriage. You just simply continue to grow together. And yeah, will you have arguments from time to time? Yeah, because you're human. But then you grow together, right? Anyway, you guys, it is fantastic. And life can be very good. So another thing I was thinking is about having authentic relationships, which is something the narcissist cannot do. That when you have an authentic relationship with someone, together you can laugh hard about the broken things in your life and also appreciate the good things in your life. You can see the blessings. You can count those blessings together. That's the really cool thing about being able to examine yourself. Once you examine yourself and you're being truthful about who you are, right? Oh my gosh, I'm such an angry person. I had to find admit that about myself. I had gone through a phase where I was a very angry person. And I think most people who come out of narcissistic relationships are very angry because you've been treated so badly, right? It was not fair. There's so much reason for you to be resentful. There's so much reason for you to take vengeance, right? And thrash back at the narcissist. So many reasons. But what happens a lot of times is you walk around with this anger inside of you, this frustration, and then you take it out on those who are around you, who are trying to help you, who love you. And this is why I do this channel, because I don't want you to go down this road where you react from the pain that you went through and then destroy the rest of your life and destroy your relationships, authentic relationships that you can be having, right? So what do you have to do? You have to take a good hard look at yourself. And that's what I had to do over and over again, by the way, because it's a continual process of cleaning out. Like, I was critical, I was angry, I was short-tempered, I was not forgiving. I had no tolerance for other people's, mistakes. I took it as an insult to myself. I couldn't take other people's opinions. I'm telling you guys all these things and all the lessons I've learned because I had experienced this. I've walked it. It's not like I'm standing from the outside, never having had kids and telling you how to raise your kids. No, I've walked this, you guys. I've been there where you are. I know what it's like to feel that kind of pain in the middle of the night where you think there's no answer and there is no hope and there's nothing left for you. I have been there. And when that has happened to me, It's just the grace of luck that I made, grace of God and luck and karma that I made it through. It's the grace of God that I made it through. And I want you to understand, I don't ever want you to be in that situation where you feel like there's no hope, but you don't know what to do. When you're in that situation, you don't know what to do, get some rest, change the scenery, walk away from where it is. If it's late at night, get some sleep. If it's in the middle of the day, change the scenery. Go somewhere else and go commune with nature. Go to a park. Go shopping. They have shop therapy. But at the dollar store maybe, okay? So you don't go crazy. But sometimes it helps to just get your mind off of stuff. Watch a comedy, right? Get out of that mindset that only destroys and kills. You don't want to be left in that mindset. So here's the deal, you guys. I had to be honest with myself. I had to examine all the ugly, yucky things that were in my heart. And once I realized, you know what? If I behave this way and I continue to hold on to all the ugliness inside of my heart, how can I possibly love my husband authentically? How can I possibly love others around me authentically when I'm holding on to this anger and I'm super sensitive to disagreements, right? To other people not agreeing with my opinion. How can I possibly love them well? I can't. It just can't be done. And then you miss out, just like the narcissist misses out. And then at the end of the narcissist's life, they are going to be confused, angry, and alone. And they won't understand, like, I did everything. I gave people stuff. But then it's like, okay, you gave things away. You were helpful sometimes. But you were also unbearably angry and hateful. But the narcissist doesn't see that. They see it as, well, I was justified in my anger and I was justified in my hatred because of them. That's why I hated. And because they insulted me with their opinions and because they didn't agree with me. So I was insulted. They insulted me, and they cling to that. And when they cling to that, they don't understand, like, that's living in freaking Crazytown. That is not reality. Their mind is not reality. Reality is outside of your mind, by the way. Reality is what goes on in the world, whether you are there or not. Whether your mind is thinking or not. It is whatever is still going on around you. So get plugged back into reality. Yeah. I just feel so blessed because of the people that are in my life. Yeah. I wrote some things down this morning when I first woke up, so I'm going to read this to you guys. It says, why does the narc get worse with age? It's because they've painted themselves into a corner and must keep up their image, which everyone can see through by this time, by the way. They become more unraveled or fade into themselves to barricade what's deep inside. While we become bigger and live bigger, and we are free to be ourselves. That's what happens to the narcissist. So the reason we can be bigger and live a bigger life is because we can put the lies behind us. We can see, and here's the really cool thing. Once you've been honest with yourself, like, oh my gosh, I'm a really hateful person, or I'm a very big gossip, or I've lied to a lot of, why is it that I fall back? Oh, by the way, that was something that I had to cure early on. When you've been raised by a narcissist, you tend to lie because you have to lie in order to keep the narcissist from being from taking their rage out onto you. So you have to lie. You have to hide. You're always in hiding. And it's not like I lied big time. I just hid a lot. And it kind of came out, it came out into my young adult life where people would ask me, I would lie about the dumbest things. I wasn't lying about big things, by the way. I was lying about the dumbest little things. Like, they'll ask me what I had for dinner last night, and I'll lie about it. Like, why? So I had a bowl of cereal. Let's say I had a bowl of cereal the night before. But then I feel like, oh my gosh, if I tell them I had a bowl of cereal for dinner, what are they going to think of me? I can't tell them I had a bowl of cereal. They're going to think that I'm stupid and I'm lazy and whatever else comes into your head, right? Because you just feel like everything people think of you is critical. You tend to just lie to cover it up. And I'll say, Oh yeah, I went and got some vegetable, I did this chicken vegetable dish. Yeah, that's what I had for dinner. Because you're hoping they'll see, oh well, you take good care of yourself. You're responsible and you had a good dinner. Who cares? Who cares what other people think about you, what you had for dinner, right? But when you've been raised by a narcissist, or maybe even having lived with one and been married to one for multiple years, you might find yourself very hypersensitive to what other people think of you. Because the narcissists let you know every day of your life what they thought of you, right? So you feel this criticalness. You feel like anytime anybody looks at you, they must be criticizing you. And you feel like you have to protect that and cover that. So be real with yourself. Ask yourself, am I doing this? Am I being honest? And I remember, oh my gosh, I do remember breaking out of that. It was a little bit hard because I would catch myself. Like they'd ask me a question. Oh, did you go bicycling yesterday? Like you said, like you say, I told people I was going to go for a bike ride. And then I didn't because I was lazy. I was feeling really down and depressed and I didn't want to go out. So I stayed home and watched TV instead. So then the next day at work, they'll be like, hey, did you go on that bike ride? What am I going to tell them? Am I going to tell them, no, I was so depressed that I just sat home and watched TV all weekend? Oh boy, they're going to judge me, right? I'm so worried they're going to judge me. Um, so you make things up. Oh yeah, I went on that bike ride. I went on this trail. Yeah, it was great. I got tired. You start conflating this story that has nothing to do with reality because you're afraid of what other people think. I get it. I've been there. I have been there. So what did I do? When I would catch myself, I would just tell them not the whole truth because I don't want, it's nobody's business that I was depressed. I would just say, no, no, I didn't make it out, but hopefully I'll get out next weekend. That's it. I started doing that. I started telling the truth about my own self and not being ashamed, right? Stop being ashamed, stop hiding and being fearful that other people might judge me. But I get it. I get it. I used to be there. I used to think like, oh my gosh, even if I told them, no, I didn't get out, they might think, well, that's weird. Why wouldn't you get out? And you start feeling condemnation on yourself. By the way, it's a lot of times it's what you're doing to yourself. So you want to clear that out. You want to clear your mind. You want to make sure that you are thinking in a healthy way. And part of that is examining yourself. I don't know if you know this, but um, in church, in Christianity, we take communion, and so and I guess Catholics, Lutherans, everybody, a lot of people who are under the Christian umbrella, if you will, take communion. And I've heard that communion is supposed to be, in remembrance of Jesus and what he did, right? The bread is his body and the wine is his blood that he spilled for us. So in remembrance of him. But yet, the scripture also says, but don't take communion or else you will bring condemnation onto yourself. So that gets me thinking, what does that mean, bringing condemnation onto yourself? Like, how does remembering Jesus bring condemnation onto yourself? What communion really is, by the way, is self-reflection. And I think the scriptures do talk about that. Before you go into communion, reflect on yourself. Look inside of your heart and see what is there. Don't bring this dark heart into communion with Jesus, or else you will bring condemnation onto yourself. And here's the deal, you guys. This is the same thing in real life. When we don't examine our heart, when we don't clean it out of all its ugliness that piled up in there while you were in a relationship with a narcissist, yeah, we pile up a lot of ugly, dark things, by the way. If we don't go in there and admit the truth to ourselves, that you may have become a terrible gossip because that was the narcissist world. You may have become why can't I think of these words? You might have become a masochist, right? You may have like laughed at other people's pain because that's what the narcissist did. You might have become unfeeling or unforgiving because that's the way the narcissist was, and that's the world you got pulled into. You may have become very critical. You may have become very angry along with the narcissist, right? Admit that to yourself. It's okay. It's okay to admit that to yourself. And you have to admit it to yourself, because if you don't, how are you going to get rid of it, right? There's no way to get rid of something you don't know is there, right? So here's the deal. Just get in there. Get in there and do what the narcissist is not willing to do, which is be truthful with yourself. Find yourself. Find who you really are and want to be. Like, let's say that right now you're not who you want to be. Right now you're a very angry, balled up, tight-fisted, um, steaming out of your ears type of person, right? And always feeling judged, always, feeling critical of others. If you catch yourself like always criticizing other people, like, oh my gosh, look at that person's hair, look at this, what they drive, I can't believe their fingernails are so dirty, or whatever it is. If you catch yourself and you see, when you're being honest with yourself, you see that all day long you're criticizing everybody you run into. Like, you pick out something about them to criticize in your mind, of course. Change that. You can change that. That's why I always say, it's the other people don't make you do things, you choose to do things, right? They could have like the worst hair and never shower and smell so bad, but they don't make you critical of them, right? You decide. You decide whether, am I going to criticize this person and be critical of them and laugh at them? That's a choice. They're not making you laugh at them, but it's a choice that you make. So instead of choosing to criticize them, choose to either, if it's uncomfortable for you, then go into another room, but choose to be kind, choose to be compassionate, choose to be loving regardless of what the other person does. Oh my gosh, there's a Kipling poem called If, and I love it, and I gotta look it up and read it to you. Maybe I'll do that next time. I'll print it out because it is a beautiful poem. I would recommend you guys get there. Maybe I'll look it up on the website, and then put it in a comment so that you guys will have it. It's called If. And one of the stanzas is about if a man should, and I'm going to misquote it, by the way, because I don't remember it exactly. I just remember the gist of it. If another person should hurt me, it's not what they did that matters. It's what I will do that matters. Okay? It's not what other people do to you. It's what you're going to do that matters. And take that with you. Narcissists don't. Narcissists are reactionary. All they focus on is what their perception, by the way, it doesn't even have to be what other people have actually done to them. It will be their perception of what other people have done to them, right? If the other people disagreed with them, they're going to take that as an insult. The other people didn't insult them with their own opinion, and they just have a different opinion. But the narcissist is going to take it as an insult, and then they're going to react from that perception that it was an insult. And you know that, and I know that, right? We have been around narcissists long enough to see their freaking Crazytown thinking. And we're like, what the heck just happened? You walk into a room and you say, hey, is there anything in the fridge for dinner? And then, you're just asking honestly, like, what would you recommend, right? Essentially. And they're going to take it like, what are you saying? That I'm too lazy to cook dinner? That I didn't go grocery shopping? Like, what the heck? No, I'm just asking, what's good in there? Oh my gosh. But narcissists cannot self-examine. They cannot see that they're very critical. They cannot see that they're very harsh with people. They cannot see that they are hateful towards other people, because they justify every feeling they have. They justify how they treat other people. They will say, well, the way you said it, it was your tone. And it's their imagination. It may not, you didn't have a tone, but they're going to imagine it and replay it in their head with a tone, because they've already taken offense. Once they've taken offense, they're going to replay it as if you did take some kind of crazy tone with them, and now you're going to spend the rest of the night fighting into 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. about this crap, right? You know it, I know it. We've been in Crazytown, and that's why I want to keep helping you guys focus. Focus on the truth and be truthful about yourself. Because if you're not authentic with yourself, you cannot be authentic with other people. And the most beautiful thing in my life are the authentic relationships that I have. That's what keeps me grounded in reality. That's what gives me incredible joy in my life. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've had a viewer once, and I'm sorry, but I just didn't care for this viewer. Don't even remember who it was. I don't think they're here anymore, but I was like, what the heck? They got on and they made a comment. I can't remember exactly now what the comment was, but essentially it was something like, oh, well, your life is perfect, isn't it? And I was like, what? Have you listened to any of this, any of my other videos? Okay, whatever. It's just a very angry person who just feels like they're projecting onto other people. They're criticizing other people. They're jealous of other people. And they don't appreciate that somebody made it through and is happy in their life and has joy in their life. They don't aspire to get that for themselves. They only want to tear down. And those are not authentic people. Those are just damaged, hurt, toxic, emotionally immature people. And you don't need that. And you don't need to be one of those, right? You don't need to be like that. So that's why I do this channel. I want to help you come back into sanity. Escape Crazytown and join me in reality, insanity. That sounds right? Insanity. No, not insanity, but join me in the real world and enjoy sanity with me. It's great. I'm just going to see if there was something else that I had written. Yeah, the one thing that narcs are not is honest with themselves. They run from this. When you're honest with yourself and really see who you are or who you've become, that's how you can change and grow. And that's why narcs don't change or grow. Yeah. So you guys, that's our hour, and I want to catch up on some of the comments here and maybe some questions. Metal Gear, good to see you. It's been a while. Hope everyone is safe and healthy. Yes, I am safe and healthy, and I hope the same for you. Yeah. Metal Gear says the narcissist will always show off their new supply as their trophy and making them look good. Yep, absolutely. Tuesday, good to see you. Bonjour, everyone. Strength. Yes, strength to you too. You know what? It's absolute Crazytown that's out there. And those of you who've stuck with me this far, you know that I don't agree with the violence that's happening out there right now. It is total Crazytown. We are being lied to. We are being gaslit. The media is lying to us left and right. And I'm not saying just one side of the media, but there seems to be like 95% of the media is shouting the same thing. So you got to wonder. And they're trying to tell you what you see here is not what you see. And when somebody does that, especially to people who've been gaslit before, it pisses us off, by the way. It pisses us off. We're like, no, I have been there. I've been there with people, narcissists who told me that. Oh, what you see right in front of your eyes, that's not what you're seeing. You know, all this cheating that I'm doing right in front of your eyes, I'm not cheating. Total BS, right? They're trying to get you to think you're crazy. And we are being gaslit huge out there. So don't allow for that. Hold on to the truth. Find other people who are seeking the truth, and those are the people you're going to want to be around with. I've seen, I don't watch any other channels anymore because I think maybe all of them, I don't know. I haven't really been paying too close attention, but when I started seeing some of the channels I used to watch, believe everything that they are being fed. Oh my gosh. I was like, okay, they're gone. They're deceived. Sadly, they're deceived because they supposedly know about narcissism, and yet they're deceived. They supposedly know about gaslighting, and yet they're walking right into it because of their emotions. Like I said, you guys, we're human. We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to get deceived at some point. We're all, you know, it's not like, oh, I'll never be deceived again for the rest of my life. There were times I was deceived about things like this as well. And I walked away from it. And I was like, what the heck? You know, now they're telling me what I see is not what I see. The heck with that. I'm out. So I hope you guys do the same thing. The heck with that. Don't ever stick around with people who are telling you you don't see what you're seeing. Yeah, double standards. Mario says there are so many double standards. It's unreal. Like, example, if one person abandoned ghosts or ghosts someone, they are not selfish. The other person does it, and they're not selfish if the other person does it. Yep, they and the narcissist don't get it. Yeah, yeah. Just just because. Good to see you here. It says narcissists destroy family from within, and when you need to leave, they're left with nothing but to rebuild. You're left with nothing but to rebuild yourself. Yep, absolutely. Been there. Been there. Elizabeth says it's supposed to bring conviction. Yeah. Yeah, when you examine yourself, it's supposed to bring conviction. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be this way. Like, that's supposed to be eye-opening to you. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I lie about everything. You know, if you guys were there for that time I was telling you when I was younger and growing up with a narcissist, um, I learned to hide. I learned to not to feel criticized, right? So I would lie about everything, include, you know, I mean, about myself, that is, not big giant things, but I would just lie about the silliest things, like whether I went bicycling or not, or whether what I had for dinner. Like, who cares, you know? But I just felt like I couldn't tell them the truth, because if I tell them the truth, it's not going to look as good, and they're not going to like me, or they're going to criticize me. It really stinks. But when you look at yourself and you're like, oh, wow, why does the first thing that come to mind is to tell a fib? Why is that? And then you stop. And you're like, well, I don't want to be like that. And you start changing it. And you force yourself to change. It's really good. You step out of your comfort zone. My comfort zone was like not letting anybody know anything at all about me. That was my comfort zone. Rissa says, this topic has me so emotional. I absolutely love this. Today is great. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that this is helping you. And this is why I do this, you guys. Please do this for yourself. Examine yourself. It's okay. I'm telling you. Screw whatever people are around you who think that it's not okay. The heck with them. They're not the ones running your life, okay? They're not the ones feeding you and clothing you and giving you a life. You are the one. If you don't examine yourself and fix your problems, or your um, fix your wounds, right? If you don't heal, who's going to do it for you? Yep, just because says your reaction is what matters, because that's what they need to use against you. Well, yes, yes, that's true. Um, but here's the deal: it doesn't matter to them what your reaction is. I've said this before. They will make up lies about you. So even if you do the right thing, they're gonna make up lies about you. If you do the wrong thing, they're gonna exaggerate it. Whatever it is, they're going to. It doesn't matter. So what matters though is what you do, because that will be the measure of a person that you become, right? The measure of your character is what you choose to do. Obi says, if this happened before my injury, I'd have a murder trial on my hands. Oh, yeah. Yep. Obi says, you rebuild quicker than a narc would. Narcs don't actually rebuild, they continue to barricade. That's the sad thing. That's what I'm noticing with the narcs in my life right now. And I do feel sad for them. They are getting weaker, you know, in their old age. And I do feel sad for them. But they're very lonely, and they're very confused. They may not be as violent or as destructive. Well, they're probably still destructive, but they're not as physically violent as they used to be. They're still emotionally destructive. I mean, they just are. They have built up these barricades, and they cannot have authentic relationships, and they always feel attacked, right? They're always offended by something, and they misperceive whatever you do as something against them, right? as a judgment, as a criticism. They just can't see or have authentic relationships with other people. They don't know how to get there because they don't self-examine. They don't change. And narcissists, they justify. They will justify how they behave. And sadly, if you live your whole life justifying your actions rather than examining why you react the way you do, but you're justifying it. I'm justifying my bad behavior because of these other people. If you live that way, you will end up like the narcissist. At the end of your life, you're going to be angry, possibly frustrated, of course. You're going to be sad. You're going to be alone, and you're going to be confused. You're going to be like, what the heck happened? I don't understand. I did everything right, right? Because in their mind, the narcissist thinks they are justified. They're doing all the right things because they're justified. Don't end up there. Don't become like that. Well, you guys, I hope that this has helped you. I hope that you understand what a narcissist can't or won't do is examine themselves. They cannot be truthful with themselves. They just don't. They are still living in this state of justifying themselves. And you've seen it. I've seen it. I've spoken with them, and I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you, because no matter what I say, you're not going to believe it, right? Narcissists will not, then cannot receive even constructive criticism, right? They don't want to hear somebody doesn't agree with them. And it's not just narcissists, by the way. A lot of times it's just simply people who are emotionally immature. Can't give advice. And I don't, I don't give advice where it's not wanted. Like, okay, if they don't ask me for advice, I'm not going to give it. But if people come onto my channel, I'm giving advice, people are welcome to leave. So, yeah, narcissists, they cannot take it. They can't take it because they perceive everything that disagrees with them as an attack, as a judgment, as a criticism. They can't see that this person wants to help, just has a different way of living. That's what just confounds me. How is it that a narcissist can look at somebody who has a great life, who has authentic relationships, who has a really sensible head on their shoulders, makes good decisions, very rational, and is successful, right? Successful in relationships, successful in finances, successful in raising their children, successful in just being up, not just upbeat, but authentically happy. They look at a person like that and they criticize them. And they can't see that this person could possibly help them. They can't see that this person could possibly have good advice. They can't see that when this person says something they disagree with, maybe this person is right and they're wrong. They just can't see that because they're so stuck in their head. They're stuck in their head, believing all these lies and building barricades. And it's a very, very sad thing. But here's the good news, you guys. The good news is you do not have to be disillusioned or deceived like they are. You don't. You get to choose. You get to choose. And every morning that you wake up and the sun is shining and the sky is blue, and maybe it's raining where you are too, or right now, and the sun's not shining, it's okay because rain is beautiful too. Every day is a new day. Every day is a new chance to make new decisions. Every day is a new opportunity for you. So take charge of that opportunity. Take advantage of that opportunity. And don't give up. Don't get hopeless. That's the biggest lie out there, is to be hopeless. Don't be hopeless. The day goes on. If you've ever lost somebody in your life, you'll notice this. Like when I lost my dad, I thought the next day, well, actually, even while he was on his deathbed, and he wanted a Starbucks, and I was like, okay. So I went and got him a particular drink that he really enjoys, and so while I was standing there ordering it and purchasing it, I'm looking around and I see like the whole world is still going. My dad's lying on his deathbed. Like he's at the end of his life. I'm coming to get him one of the last treats he will ever have. And I'm looking around. I see people, rushing off to work. I see people sitting at tables, talking with their friends. I see people coming in and out as they're headed back to work and or onto other things. And I see the barista making the coffee, and I'm thinking, wow, life goes on. Life goes on, regardless of whatever is happening in that room where my dad is. And I want you to realize that every day that you have is a blessing. Every day that you have, because my dad doesn't have any more of them. Every day that you have is one more day that he doesn't have, right? And other people who've gone. You get to choose. You get to live. You get to find what's beautiful out there and enjoy it. You get to smell flowers and eat fruit and hang out with friends and enjoy a good steak, by the way, which I love. But here's the deal, you guys. The good news is you have a big, long, beautiful life ahead of you. Hey, so let's say you only have 5 years left. That's okay. Those could be the most beautiful, wonderful 5 years of your life, and it will still be worth it. It will still be worth it. So, you guys, I want you to take that away today. Have hope. Go to bed early. No, it doesn't have to be super early, but watch some comedies and things. If your mind is wandering and you're feeling depressed, watch something that's funny, something that breaks you out of it, and get back to reality. Get grounded. Do what you need to do. Choose the right things to get you grounded back in reality. Don't make excuses anymore like the narcissist, right? Don't justify bad behavior. Just change it. You get that choice. You get to change it. And you get to change your life, you guys. That's the most amazing thing. My life, I cannot tell you. There have been times still, like my husband and I got into an argument, I think it was Tuesday. And, I was feeling I just felt hurt by something or other. And then I hurt his feelings, and then of course we get into this argument, and it didn't get any better. And then he had to go to a meeting, and then later on, he came home after the meeting, and we made up, and it was good. It doesn't mean like, oh, from now on, if I make all the right choices, then my life is going to be perfect, and I'll never have any problems again, and I'll never hurt but the people I love again, and the people I love will never hurt me. Or even people I don't love will never hurt me. It will happen. Life happens, but that's okay. It's all beautiful, all right, you guys? It's all beautiful. Life is beautiful. Life is it, because you're going to have really amazing, great times. Like the time I had, well, with my husband, actually, we had a great time afterwards. We've spent a lot of time together since then and had a lot of laughs. I spent time with my friends, and it was beautiful. It was authentic. Get around authentic people, you guys. That is my advice to you. You had a good time here, and I'm so glad that you came. Elizabeth, good to see you. Aw, Karen Smith, I didn't see you. Oh, that's weird. You know what? I think that I don't have sometimes YouTube does not give me all the people who are chatting here. Yeah, good to see you guys. So glad that you made it on today. Aw, Karen's from Honolulu. Just threw Narc husband out on our 33rd, wow, anniversary. He stayed drunk for 2 weeks, smearing me to strangers. New temporary flying monkeys, bought beer and gave money. Yeah. Yep. That's his supply. It's true. Oh my gosh. I've had, yeah. Yeah. It's really sad. And that's why I'm sad for the narcissist, by the way. Their life is sad. Their life is miserable. Their go-to are bad things. And we don't have to be like that. Our go-to can be good things. And hey, you guys. Hey, Karen. I'm so glad that you're able to now get control of your own life and live the rest of your life in joy and in peace. So many blessings to you. And I wish you all the luck and all the love as you move forward. So blessings to all of you guys, and I will catch you next week.